Hello everybody, this is Overboy, and I'm going to be doing my ranking of the MCU movies. I've reviewed all 21 of them and everything over the last month and everything, so I'm going to rank all of them from worst to best and everything. I'd like to thank Derek from Derek's Horror Corner for recommending me to do this. I had asked him if he thought I should do it now or wait till Endgame, and he had recommended me to do it now and then also do it again when Endgame comes out, so I'll be doing a re-ranking within a month or two. But anyway, you should definitely check out his channel. He has some awesome videos. He does movie reviews, a lot of horror related movie reviews and movie series rankings, and he does has some Marvel and other stuff too, so you definitely should check out his channel, Derek's Horror Corner. I'll leave a link in the description box below. And also I'd like to say thank you to Esley for making my new intro to the channel. I hope you guys like it, and you should check out his channel too, Entertainment Fanatic Reviews. I'll try to put a link in the description box for that channel as well if I can. And anyway, so I'm gonna start my ranking. Number 21, would have to be 2008's The Incredible Hulk. I'd have to say this is probably the black sheep of the MCU. It's actually been called that by many people. It's the one MCU movie that's not really connected to any of the other ones, with the exception of Robert Downey Jr. having a small appearance as Tony Stark at the end of the movie, and William Hurt playing Thunderbolt Ross in a couple of the other movies. It took them 8 years to even have him come back in any movie, so but yeah, this isn't one of my most favorite MCU movies. It's easily my least favorite. I enjoy it less every time I watch it and everything. I try to enjoy it, but I don't really care for Edward Norton as Bruce Banner. I love a lot of his other movies. I think he was great in Fight Club and a lot of other stuff. I just didn't really think he was as good as Bruce Banner and everything. I think I like Mark Ruffalo a lot more, and also like personally I like Eric Bana a lot more too. And I think that might be part of it, but because Eric Bana is actually probably my favorite actor to play the Hulk in the theatrical movies. Although Lou Ferrigno, of course, is easily my favorite. But yeah, The Incredible Hulk is 21. It's just not one of my most favorites. Number 20 is 2016's Doctor Strange. I know most people have this up a lot higher and everything, and I will agree that the visual effects in this are amazing, and the cinematography is excellent, and Benedict Cumberbatch is wonderful as the character. He fits Doctor Strange perfectly. I just kind of find it to be a little bit too slow paced for me. I wasn't really intrigued by this movie from beginning to end. There were parts of it that I loved and everything, but it just isn't one of my most favorites. I don't hate it or anything, but it just isn't one of my favorite MCU movies. Number 19 is the newest one, Captain Marvel. This one was really good. It's a lot of fun, but it was just pretty much your generic origin story that we've gotten in the MCU many times before and everything. It's not necessarily a bad movie at all. The cast is great, especially Brie Larson and Samuel Jackson and everything. And that cat was adorable and stills every scene he's in, and Benton Middleton was great. I just kind of felt like some of the supporting characters were kind of wasted, like Ronan the Accuser. He was barely in it, and he was kind of wasted, I think. And Jude Law and Annette Bening, both, they were in there quite a bit, but they didn't give them enough to do or anything. So I'd have to say Captain Marvel is my number 19. Number 18 is 2018's Ant-Man and the Wasp. This one's a lot of fun and everything. I didn't enjoy it as much the very first time I saw it. I think it's because uh, I was really expecting it to be a lot better than it was and everything, because I was really impressed and shocked with the first Ant-Man movie. So I was kind of expecting this one to be a lot better than it was, but I still enjoy it. And upon rewatch, I enjoyed it a whole lot more. I thought it was a decent movie and everything, and it's definitely a lot of fun. The cast is great in it and everything, especially Paul Rudd and everything. But it just isn't one of my most favorites, and I think that it could have been a lot better. And I think another huge part of it is it was the first MCU movie released after Infinity War, which was really hard to follow. Um, Number 17 is 2011's Thor. I really enjoy this movie quite a bit, mainly because of Loki and everything. Chris Hemsworth was great as Thor, but he wasn't at the level that he is now and everything. So, but he's still great and everything. But the chemistry between him and Natalie Portman was really not very good. Natalie Portman wasn't very great in this movie, and she's one of those actresses. Most of the time I like her and everything, but this one I just didn't care for her very much in and everything. And some of the supporting cast were kind of just didn't really have much to do and everything. It just was a okay movie, but it's just not one of the very best. But I do always enjoy watching it. Number 16 is Spider-Man Homecoming. I never would have expected to put Spider-Man this low on the MCU ranking, but when I rewatched it, there were a lot of things I noticed about it that I didn't like, and it wasn't necessarily anything to do with acting. I think Tom Holland is okay, is perfectly fine as Spider-Man. He's actually great. I like him a lot more than Andrew Garfield. I don't like him more than Tobey Maguire, but I do like him more than Andrew Garfield, and I think he's a perfect choice for the MCU version of Spider-Man. I just don't really like the continuity errors in this movie. There's a lot of big continuity errors for the MCU in this movie. You can tell that the people that wrote this are not the normal MCU writers and everything, and everything. You know, Sony of course had a big say in what all went into this movie, and you can kind of tell and everything. But it was still a decent movie, and Michael Keaton as the Vulture was absolutely awesome and everything, and it was cool getting to see Iron Man in this movie, interacting with him and everything. I do think it isn't the best Spider-Man movie we've ever gotten, but it's still a good movie and everything. I think it could have been a lot better and everything, but number 15 is Thor: The Dark World. Now this one is one of the ones that a lot of people put at the bottom of the list and everything, and I can understand why. It's kind of forgettable, and Malekith is easily the worst MCU villain, and one of the worst comic book movie villains out there that I can think of right off. He's just really forgettable. Everything. I mean, he looks cool with the makeup and everything, special effects they used to bring him to life. He looks cool, but he's not intimidating. He's forgettable. He's just a terrible villain, and I think that Natalie Portman really phoned in this movie. What really makes me enjoy it a lot, though, is Loki, and seeing Thor and Loki's relationship in this movie. I do think that was the thing that really saved this movie and makes me enjoy it as much as I do. Number 14 is Ant-Man from 2015. This was one that I didn't expect to like as much as I did. Of course, I didn't really know anything about Ant-Man when it came out and everything. I had heard of him, and I read a couple of Spider-Man comics where he was in them, but it was Hank Pym and not Scott Lang and everything. So I was kind of confused about that and everything. But I loved it. Ended up loving this movie. Paul Rudd was absolutely perfect for the role. When I first heard about him being casted, I was like, why? He's a comedic actor. Why are they casting him in a superhero movie and everything? Because when they announced it, it was before the MCU started showing the more comedic sides and stuff that they kind of have nowadays and everything. And I thought he was perfect casting after I saw the movie and everything. And it was just a lot of fun. It is a lot similar to the first Iron Man movie, but still really enjoyable. Number 13 is 2011's Captain America: The First Avenger. I absolutely love the war setting and everything, and it's directed by Joe Johnston, who's one of my favorite movie directors. He's directed a lot of really great movies like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and Jumanji and many other good ones. And then he also directed Jurassic Park 3, which was just an okay movie, I guess. He wasn't really the main reason I didn't like that movie, but anyway, when I heard Chris Evans was playing Captain America, I was even worse off with him than I was Paul Rudd, because I was like, why? I didn't care for him in Fantastic Four. He actually really annoyed me in the Fantastic Four movies and everything, so I almost didn't even want to give this movie a chance. But I'm glad that they went with Chris Evans, because I can't picture anybody else playing Captain America now. He's absolutely perfect for the role and everything. And this has a really strong villain for being part of the Phase 1 MCU, because for the first phase and most of the second phase, the villains were pretty much one-note villains that were just there to serve purpose to the story and be done and everything. And I still think Red Skull was a pretty memorable villain. Hugo Weaving was great as the character. The chemistry between Chris Evans and Haley Atwell was great and everything. So Captain America: The First Avenger is my number 13. Number 12 is Iron Man 2. I really like this movie. I know a lot of people don't. This one's usually close to the bottom of most people's lists too, and it used to be a lot higher on my ranking. It's changed a lot since the last time I even when I had tried to do a ranking back when Black Panther came out. My rankings changed a lot since the last time I watched them all and everything. But I do enjoy this movie quite a bit. It's the movie where we get introduced to Black Widow and everything. Scarlett Johansson was awesome in that. And it's also the first movie where Don Cheadle plays Rhodey. And I think he was perfect for the choice. I like him a lot better than Terrence Howard and everything. I just think the chemistry between him and Robert Downey Jr. is better than it was with Terrence Howard. It's not really that Terrence Howard is a bad actor or anything, but I just think this was a really good sequel. It wasn't as good as the first movie, but it's still a lot of fun, and I think it's a lot better than most people say it is. Number 11 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Now, this movie has dropped a lot on my list from the last time I watched all of these movies together and everything. I do enjoy it quite a bit, but there are some things in there that I don't like. I don't like some of the humor, like they try to make humor out of torturing Baby Groot. I thought that was just really jacked up, and everything. I don't mind it being dark and Ego being such a crazy villain and everything, because I actually kind of made me like him as a villain, because he's one of those villains that you love to hate and everything. But it just had a really dark tone, much darker tone than the first movie, and some of the humor just didn't feel very good, especially like when Drax is telling Mantis how ugly she is and he's being so mean to her, and she doesn't really realize it. It's kind of like really mean humor and everything, and just isn't isn't very good. Put it YouTube. Sorry, crazy little cats. Um, Number 10 is 2014. It's Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Um, Now, most people say this is. I know a lot of people have this as their number one favorite MCU movie, and I understand why. It's a great movie. It's fun from beginning to end, and everything. I like how it's kind of like a conspiracy spy thriller, and everything, and I like the twist that Bucky was the Winter Soldier, because when I saw this movie for the first time, I didn't see that coming at all, and everything. Of course, I didn't know much about any of this stuff from the comics and everything, but this movie was still a lot of fun, and I do think this is the movie where we get the best performance out of Scarlett Johansson as the Black Widow. We get to see more of her and everything, and I think this is probably Black Widow's best screen time and everything, and it was a great introduction to Falcon, who I feel has gotten to be underused with each movie he's in since this movie. He was really good in this one, and then he's just kind of become an underused character and everything. He's been in the other ones quite a bit, but just they don't use him as much, it seems like, if that makes sense. But this is a great movie. Number 9 is Iron Man 3. I used to not care for this movie. When I first saw it, I was really mad about the Mandarin twist and everything, because even though I didn't read a lot of Iron Man comics, I knew enough about the Mandarin from a couple of comics that I had read, and I had seen some animated shows and stuff that had the Mandarin in it, and I was like, this is awesome that they're having Ben Kingsley play him, and they did that big twist and everything, and made it where it was kind of like The Incredibles, where the Mandarin was actually someone else that looked up to Tony Stark and everything. It kind of reminded me of Syndrome from The Incredibles, and I really was mad about it when I very first saw it, and this used to be in my bottom 2 on the MCU rankings, but after rewatching it a few times, it's grown on me quite a bit and everything, and I like how it kind of focuses more on Tony being Tony instead of Iron Man and everything. There's a lot of stuff I like about it, and even though Ben Kingsley wasn't the actual Mandarin, I still got a kick out of him. I think he's hilarious when in the scenes when they find out he's not the Mandarin and everything, he's talking to him and everything. I think he's kind of humorous, but number 8 is Thor Ragnarok. This one could easily be up a lot higher than it is, but all of these movies starting from number 10 up were really hard to rank for me and everything. But I absolutely love Thor Ragnarok. I think it gets bigger. I mean, not bigger, but better every single time I watch it. I just love the stuff, how the characters interact with each other, especially Thor and Loki, and I love how we get to see the whole kind of progression to where he talks and stuff and everything, and find out that Bruce Banner's been the Hulk for 2 years and everything, and we get to meet Valkyrie. She's awesome, and Hela was a really good villain and everything. Jeff Goldblum was absolutely hilarious in this movie. Thor Ragnarok was a blast from beginning to end. It took a totally different tone and shift in tone and everything from the first 2 movies, and it really paid off, I think. But yeah, Thor Ragnarok is number 8. Number 7 is another one that's gone down really big time from a long time ago. Is Avengers: Age of Ultron. This one actually used to be my favorite MCU movie, but after rewatching it, I started kind of understanding why people don't care for it as much. The Hulk and Black Widow relationship is kind of stupid and everything, and it never has gone anywhere since this movie and everything, all except for the little brief awkward moment in Infinity War when they when Bruce and Natasha say hi to each other when they first see each other for the first time, but then it doesn't go anywhere else after that. Um, Everything. Um, while I do think Ultron was a cool villain, I do think that he didn't get enough screen time, and they didn't. It just wasn't as good as the first one to me, and everything. And it after rewatching all of them, it's not as good as it used to be to me. Number 6 is 2018's Oscar-winning movie Black Panther. This movie was a really big surprise to me. I didn't expect to hate it or anything, but I didn't know whether I would think it was going to be one of the best MCU movies or not, and everything. And it really surprised me. I think it has the best cinematography and everything out of the MCU, the best score, and awesome costume designs and sets and everything. Some of the CGI was bad, but all of the MCU movies have a little bit of bad CGI for the most part. But all in all, I think it was an excellent movie and everything. Michael B. Jordan is easily one of the best MCU villains, as Killmonger, and just a really, really good movie. Now we're getting into the top 5. These are the ones that I kind of had the hardest time ranking and everything, but number 5 is 2008's Iron Man, the one that started it all. I remember I saw this movie, it's probably getting close to about 10 years ago, because I got it on DVD in the spring of 2009 at a pawn shop, because I was surprised that they had it that soon, because it hadn't been on DVD that long. And I grabbed it because it was really cheap for at that time, and I took it home and watched it, and not really expecting to like it that much. I figured it was just going to be an alright movie and everything, and I ended up loving it. And all these years later, Iron Man's still my favorite MCU character and everything. Robert Downey Jr. was absolutely perfect. Iron Man is not only the movie that really isn't only my introduction to the MCU. I think it was also my introduction to Robert Downey Jr. because I hadn't really seen anything that he was in before this. And he's become one of my favorite actors since this movie and everything. But I just absolutely love the first Iron Man movie, and the special effects and everything in this movie hold up today. Along with Black Panther, I think it has some of the best cinematography and sets and everything, and I love the practical effects that they use in this, and it just was an excellent movie. Number 4 was Guardians of the Galaxy from 2014. Like most people, I had no idea who the Guardians of the Galaxy were and everything, but I absolutely loved this movie from beginning to end. The characters were all very well written. Ronan wasn't one of the best MCU villains, but I do think he was good and everything. And I couldn't believe how amazing this movie was when I saw it for the first time and everything. And it's easily still one of the best MCU movies. It's one of the ones I had the most fun rewatching. I always enjoy rewatching it. And I love the music in it as well. Number 3 is 2012's The Avengers, the first really big crossover MCU movie, the one that could have ended the MCU if it would have done bad. I think if it would have been a big flop or people wouldn't have liked it, I don't think we would be where we are now and everything. It's just a lot of fun. It was great getting to see these characters interact with each other and everything for the first time. And that scene in the Battle of New York where the camera goes around all of the characters, I just thought that was an excellent scene, and everything just felt really epic and everything. And the Battle of New York was easily one of the best scenes in the MCU. number 2 is Captain America: Civil War. Um, Now this one is one of those that I've rewatched probably the most, besides Infinity War. I've rewatched this movie I don't know how many times, and every single time I rewatch it, I like it more. Everything, that airport scene, it just is awesome and everything. I love the introduction to Spider-Man and Black Panther, especially Black Panther and everything, because he has a lot more to do in this movie than Spider-Man does. But this was a movie that let me know that Spider-Man was going to be good for the MCU, because I was really concerned about it, because I didn't like Andrew Garfield at all as Spider-Man. I was like, hopefully they don't get someone that's even worse than him. But I thought Tom Holland was perfect for this this version of the MCU and everything. And I love how he does the Empire Strikes Back reference, and Ant-Man is hilarious, and it's like he's trying to show off to all of the Avengers and everything. And it's a really, really good movie. And of course, number 1 is Avengers: Infinity War, movie that took 10 years of anticipation, bringing all of these other movies together. At the time, it was 19 movies and everything, and all of these, so many characters and everything, and they pulled it off very well and everything. I think it was a very, very good movie, and I can't wait to see Avengers Endgame. I don't know whether it'll be able to top Infinity War or not, but I'm hoping it will. This was a really great movie, and like Captain America: Civil War, I think it gets better every time I rewatch it and everything. And I just love how they mix the humor, but it also has a lot of emotions and everything. The one thing I don't like is that they killed off all of these characters that you know are going to be back, because they're pretty much the ones that are going to be taking over the MCU after the original Avengers are gone. But I also kind of like it that they're trying to make it where this Endgame is also going to kind of be the last one with all of the original Avengers doing stuff. So it's understandable, I guess, why they did it. But anyway, that's my ranking for all 21 MCU movies. I'll probably do a re-ranking sometime, probably at the end of April, early May, after I see Avengers Endgame and everything. Or I might just wait and do it in July after I see Spider-Man: Far From Home. We'll just have to wait and see. But once Avengers Endgame gets out, I will at least be definitely doing my ranking of the Phase 3 MCU movies, because I think Endgame is going to be the last one of Phase 3. So I'll at least be doing that. So anyway, thank you again to Derek for recommending me to do this, and once again, thanks Esley for my new intro. And if there's any top 10 list, movie series rankings, or movie reviews you'd like me to do, let me know in the comments, and I'll get to them as quick as I can. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you, and have a good day.